we moved on to as good a match as you'll ever see. And
Poetry.
This was just brilliant. We had Sabre Jr. and Bryan Danielson. It went 32 minutes and 46 seconds. Felt like nothing. When I heard the 20-minute time call, I thought it had been going on for 7 or 8 minutes. It was so smooth. This was a brilliant masterclass of technical wrestling, which you would expect. But man, I was thinking about this, Jeremy, and I'm not going to do it justice with any kind of a verbal play-by-play here on this show. Go out of your way to see this match, for the love of God. But this was so amazing, and I kept thinking about this. Is this the only time that these two can ever really just go full throttle? Every other match they have, each guy has to carry people through certain sequences and lead them in the technical wrestling stuff, and they're both great at doing it. But in this match, against this opponent, Danielson and Sabre, might be the only time they're in with a guy that is skilled enough to work with the other. And it must be such a wonderful feeling to be able to just go full throttle and know that no matter what you do, no matter where you go with it, the other guy is capable of keeping up. I bet this is the only match they have where they can experience that, where they don't have to lead someone through. So I can just do whatever I want and use all of my skills, and this other guy is going to know what to do, and I don't have to worry about it. And I think that showed through. There was a real joy in this match from both guys in an odd way, because it was a pretty stiff match, but Danielson worked Zach's knee. Zach worked Danielson's neck. Both had a million ways to do each of those two things. And there was so much great mat wrestling, chain wrestling. They opened up later with strikes, which got pretty fierce. The kicks, the slaps, even some headbutts. There was a time when they were holding each other in heel hooks and leg locks and slapping the hell out of each other. But man, they were having fun. And I'll tell you what, Zach's European uppercut game was on point in Osaka. Those things had some stink on them. They got English, Fight Forever, and This Is Awesome chants from this crowd. Go figure on that one.
Daniel did the yes chant too. You let him.
The yes chants, they were into that. There was one guy that was chanting for Kenta in the tag team title match. And it seems like that guy was the American wrestling fan, because he would start these chants. He had a very distinct voice, if you could hear him, but people went along with it. And again, you can't do it justice to try to explain this, because there was even a long knuckle lock sequence in the beginning of the match where they had 50 different ways to work the thing, where you just grab each other, grab each other's hands and work around spinning and twisting and rolling. It was sublime. And in the end there was a wonderful pin scramble sequence where they're just rolling each other up in various ways. That led to a crucifix, and Zack Sabre Jr. got the pinfall victory. So tellingly, not a submission, and that just means that we're doing this again. Thank goodness. Definite match of the year candidate. This is everything I love about pro wrestling, Jeremy. They shook hands after, and both men were giddy. And I'm going to let you talk about the match. Then I want to go into the backstage comments, because again, one of the most emotional pro wrestling nights, and it bled over into this match too.
I don't even know where to start. This is the match of the year to beat. And I'm so confident that there is not another match that any promotion can do at this point that can easily stand up to the quality and the caliber that this was. This was better than their Wrestle Dream match. I believe that this would probably have been better than what their proposed Forbidden Door match was going to be, mainly because New Japan let their talent wrestle without limitations. There are angles and there are things that they have to do sometimes to make sure they're getting to the thing, but it's usually for the lower end of the card. When you are at the caliber of these two wrestlers, they let them go, and they trusted them to just go until your wheels fell off, basically, and do whatever it is that you want to do out there. And for 32 minutes, these two men did something that, if you're a wrestling fan, you owe it to yourself to watch this match. If you need to, get a subscription for $10 for 1 month, if you can't afford it and you need to find it some other way, do what you need to watch this match. This is required. This is required viewing. There were There were times where I saw there was zero fear, complete trust, full confidence between these two people.
Well said.
I have seen nature videos of two animals locked in combat, jumping towards each other and seamlessly mesh into one combat ready attack. And this is what these two were doing. They jumped right into each other into moves, and they would seamlessly just convert it into some type of submission or an arm lock that you have never seen before. And it's fast, and it's flawless, and it's fearless, and it's everything that as a pro wrestling fan you want your main event matches to be. And it wasn't even the main event. So this was divine. This is my favorite kind of match, and I knew we were gonna get something special, but I did not want to get my hopes up. I had nothing. I had no indication of who was going to win this match. Sometimes I come to these shows and I already know a little bit just because the timing and otherwise. I watched it, and all of a sudden, I was like, this is a match of the year candidate. You go on to X, and you don't really seem to be saying it. And all of a sudden, the conversation after the Super Bowl is like, did you see that match of the year candidate? And it kind of made me feel validated. I'm like, okay, my opinions aren't totally shit. Because I do know a little bit of something here. So it was great. Just great. I'm gushing about it. I'm fanboying out about it, and I feel a little embarrassed about it in that way. But I need for everyone underlined to know this is my favorite kind of match done by the two best wrestlers in the world. And now I'm of the opinion that Sabre Jr. should have the IWGP title. He should win the G1, and he should be the front and center of New Japan Pro Wrestling for the short term.
I do believe, by the way, that Zach is going to be the next top guy, Jen. That's the guy that they're going to go with eventually here. But Colin mentions that it's match of the show. Dunstan Williams is here. Hey, Dunstan. Match of the year candidate. Venkin is here. And, of course, he said the best part, and he's right. The best part about this was at one point, Bryan Danielson had him in almost like, I guess he had his legs locked up, and Zach was close to the ropes, and he just kind of said, go, Zach, go on, grab the ropes. And Zach said, I don't need the effing ropes. And it was fantastic. And Dunstan says, I need proof Zach signed a long-term deal before he holds the world title. We'll see. But world title or not, I think he's moving up into that top position. But to go on from this after the match, so he beats Danielson.
How can you not if you just beat Bryan Danielson in the middle of a New Japan ring, on one of the biggest shows of the year?
Both guys were just giddy afterwards in the post-match comments. I mean, just on a high, they had really experienced something that they don't get to experience very often, which was that level of skill. And Danielson then said, I thought they were going for a submission match because, they had
I thought so too.
I thought it was going to be a submission match. Instead, Danielson said he wants 2 out of 3 falls. Okay. I'm down with that. And of course, not announced, but boy, All Out in London sounds like a really smart place to do that match.
I was thinking that or Forbidden Door because there's no other bigger match that they can do at Forbidden Door this year.
Again, that wasn't said, but it would be perfect. Danielson put Zach over big in the post-match comments. He's saying that Zach is the best technical wrestler in the world and the best technical wrestler he has ever been in the ring with. And afterwards, Danielson was just putting over everything and ended his comments with, "What bless New Japan, I love this place," and walked off. And Zach then talked about how much it meant to him to bring out this kind of wrestling and how he's turned down deals from places that he could go and make a lot of money. He said, but I don't believe in capitalism anyway. And besides that, they wouldn't allow me to do something like this. New Japan is the only place. And it gave these two a place to express themselves as artists with this match. This is what they are the best on earth at. And this gave these two artists a place to express that. And it couldn't happen in another ring. It wouldn't have been the same in an AEW ring. It wouldn't have worked in a WWE ring. New Japan allows people to do this. And it was a special moment. It was a special match. And both the participants and the audience understood that.
Yeah, this was just really, really special. I do think that Forbidden Door 3 or All In, and I'm leaning towards Forbidden Door 3 because I think there's going to be a lot more emphasis on Ospreay and Okada for Wembley next year. So if it were me, I would have a 2 out of 3 falls match between Danielson and Zack Sabre Jr. main event Forbidden Door 3.
Either way. I mean, I'm just happy that we're going to get it again after this.
Oh, absolutely. This was a fantastic match. All the stars, all the ratings, all the cage match, all the people telling you that you watch the match, they're all right. They're all correct. There's nothing. This is a flawless match.